All right, so now we're going to welcome Britnie Remer from 350 Wisconsin. Thank you.
Thanks, Dina. My internet is a little bit unstable. I'm going to turn my camera on right now just for my quick intro, and then I'll turn it off again when I do my presentation. There we go. Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Britnie Remer. Like Dina said, I am with 350 Wisconsin. I'm on staff there as the fossil fuels organizer, and my main focus is shutting down Line 5. In addition to that, I am also part of the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign, but I am here representing 350 Wisconsin today. I live in Wausau in the north central part of the state, and as difficult as it can be sometimes being in this part of Wisconsin, I really enjoy having access to a lot of different places that wouldn't be accessible otherwise, including the northern part of the state. It's very beautiful, very special part of the state. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Line 5 today. And before I pull up my presentation, I don't know if we can do by like a show of hands. I'm just wondering who has heard of Line 5 or who is able to watch the recording that was sent, or who has been able to see the Bad River film, any of those things. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Perfect. So I'm going to go over just a little bit of information on Line 5. And then I have a video that I want to play for you all. And then I'll close out with an action step that anyone can take right now. So some of this information you might know already, but I just wanted to be able to lay some groundwork for getting into a little bit deeper conversation and explanation about what the Bad River Band is facing right now with this pipeline. All right, so I'm gonna just turn off my video and then I will pull up my presentation. All right, can we all see that okay? Good? Perfect. Okay, so Line 5 is a 645-mile portion of a larger network of pipelines that's operated by Enbridge, a multi-billion-dollar Canadian corporation. And you can see that network of pipelines in this image right here. It's pretty horrific. So Line 5 travels from Superior, Wisconsin, through Michigan and to the refineries in Sarnia, Ontario. Built in 1953 without the consent of tribal nations in its path, the pipeline was engineered to last for 50 years and is now outdated, decaying, and vulnerable at over 70 years old. Since 1968, Line 5 has had 33 separate incidences spilling over 1.1 million gallons of oil. For more than a decade, the Bad River Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa has been fighting to remove the Line 5 pipeline from their homeland in northern Wisconsin. Although a federal judge ruled in their favor, agreeing that Enbridge is illegally trespassing on the Bad River Band's reservation, the company wants to expand the pipeline just outside of the reservation's borders. For Enbridge, this keeps the oil and profits flowing. But for the rest of us, it puts the Great Lakes and everything that depends on them at risk of a wholly devastating oil spill. And I know that we're going to talk about Carl a little bit later, but I just wanted to mention him right here. This map was made by Carl Sack. So this reroute project is not a solution. Line 5 and the 23 million gallons of crude oil and gas that it carries every day will continue to threaten the entire region. Shutting down Line 5 would have almost no impact on jobs or fuel supplies and prices in Wisconsin, making it a prime opportunity to transition justly to safer, more sustainable energy. This slide here is one that I really like to show these two images side by side. The image on the left is something that Enbridge uses regularly in their TV ads, their print ads. in their materials that they hand out. They have it on their website. And on the right, you can see this image that's provided by GLIFWIC, which is the Great Lakes Indian Fish and Wildlife Commission. And that shows more accurately what the impact of the reroute would be on these waterways. And I'll show that in more detail in this next slide here. So we know that an oil spill could eviscerate local economies and generations of cultural practice and identity for members of the Bad River Band, who have relied on the wild rice, the fish, and the watershed for centuries. So as it currently stands, the existing portion of Line 5 crosses over 400 waterways. This reroute section would add 41 miles to the pipeline and would cross an additional 180 waterways and wetlands. So that's 180 more potential places for just absolute disaster. So I'm going to share a video in the next slide here that will go into a little bit more about what this could harm, like what is at risk here. This is a really great video that I was able to find online with several members of the Bad River Band speaking about what this land means and the significance of it.
We are an ancient people in our ancestral home. Taking care of the landscapes and the ecosystems and the waterways is just good housekeeping for the millennia to come. Our tribe, the Bad River Band, is part of the Lake Superior Chippewa.
We're located in pretty much the center of northern Wisconsin on the beautiful shores of Lake Superior.
People here are friendly, everybody's family around here, everybody kind of knows each other.
Our land base is over 120,000 acres, punctuated by the presence of incredibly rich hydrology.
We are very water rich, around 500 miles of mapped streams and rivers, and a large coastal wetlands complex system, which makes it pretty unique. The Kakagan and Bad River Sloughs Wetland Complex did get designated as a Ramsar site, or a wetland of international importance, and that was a big deal to us. This system is the first tribal designated Ramsar site.
Here, where the water is very prevalent, it is very important to us. And it was important to our chiefs who selected this place. This is one reservation that we weren't placed on. We chose to be here because it had everything we needed to be able to live a good life.
We live off the land, we hunt, we fish, we gather, and most of that we do on the waters, so it's very important to us.
And so in real time, we fight for protection and preservation of our water resources.
And we are so thankful we have a lot of our wetlands intact.
Wetlands are insanely important. We're thinking flooding, because those floodplains and the wetlands will absorb some of that runoff water. It also will help filter some of the sedimentation and the erosion that we're seeing with the higher precipitation.
All of these wetlands are unbelievably powerful in different plant medicines that our people have always utilized and depended on.
So we do a lot to protect those wetlands because of different services they provide. We do a lot of monitoring of water chemistry or flow rates, because we need to understand what the current conditions are and what might be affecting the natural resources. Another way we're protecting those really critical floodplain wetlands is not allowing development in those conservation areas. That way they can just be left remote and be able to function the way they need to be functioning.
We pride ourselves as taking care of the land, taking care of our resources. And I think natural resources, the department takes a vital step into ensuring that that's done, helping us as a tribe accomplish that.
One thing that's unique about our natural resources department compared to others is we do utilize both what's called Western science and traditional ecological knowledge, because it's not just about collecting very specific information about water chemistry, but it's also trying to talk to elders and community members to better understand those uses that wetland or water body provide for them.
What I do then is review the project that wants to be done. Then we have to evaluate how is that going to affect the rice? How will the birds be impacted? How will the bears be impacted? Just like a ripple in a pond, if one is taken out, then it affects everything else around it.
The water, the land, the animals, our people, you know, we're all resources here. So, I mean, we all need to work together as a whole to protect the resources.
We don't know what the future holds for us, so we must remember to take care of what we have here, to always be mindful that it is something that will sustain us in the long run.
We try to keep that seventh generation, those future generations in mind, to send what we have into the future for them, so they're blessed just like we were when we arrived here on this place. And that's a good thing.
Beautiful place up there, isn't it? It's absolutely gorgeous. Such a special, special part of Wisconsin and special part of the world. There are so many things that, you know, just cannot be replaced. So why does this matter to all of us? Why does a pipeline in northern Wisconsin that this small tribe is battling matter to all of us? Because all of the struggles that we face and fight are interconnected, from poverty to racism, healthcare to housing, clean water to cultural identity, from militarism and the war economy to environmental justice. These issues are all part of a system that is meant to work for only a few. The only way we are going to arrive in a world of peace and justice, where the abundance that exists is shared as it should be, is to come together as human beings and fight for the greater good, not just for now, but for the next 7 generations. And I'm gonna stop my screen share right now. And so right now, at this point in time, we are at a really critical juncture in the fight against Line 5. Earlier this month, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers announced that they're going to be releasing an environmental assessment. And they also announced that they're going to be holding a public hearing in Ashland, Wisconsin on June 4th and opening a public comment period. The problem with this is, while it was expected, it was not expected this soon. They are not following the protocol that they should be following. They do not have all the information that they need to have to properly assess the impacts on the environment. And one of the key pieces that they don't have is the water quality input from the Bad River Band and the state of Wisconsin. So they're fast tracking this reroute project and, you know, basically completely undermining the Bad River Band and dismissing the threats that the construction and operation of this pipeline poses. So following the lead of the Bad River Band, 350 Wisconsin and other organizations have signed on to a letter requesting that the Army Corps postpone the public hearing. And I am going to put a link in the chat for you all too, where you can do the exact same thing. You can fill out a super quick form and write a letter to Bill Sandy at the St. Paul district of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and request that this hearing get postponed until they have the proper information and all of the information that they need to, you know, accurately assess the impacts that this pipeline will have. All right, that is in the chat. Yeah, I suppose I could also answer some questions too, if anybody has any. And thank you all so much for being here today and for taking the time to listen to me talk a little bit more about Line 5.